I've been thinking for a while now about how I approach cooking in the kitchen and how best to communicate those experiences to you on this platform. So far I've been focusing on recipes and techniques which have a wide range of applications in the kitchen. But now I want to take a step back. I want to look at how we can hone our instincts in the kitchen and use our 5 senses to improve the food that we cook. In this series, I'll be taking a look at each of our senses individually and looking at how they can be used in the kitchen to produce amazing, delicious and beautifully presented food. First up, touch. Touch is the first sense that we develop as humans, and it's a really effective tool for communication, for sensing danger and for safety. In the kitchen, it's vital, but unfortunately a lot of us have an aversion to touching our food. The thing is, our hands are the most effective tools we have in the preparation of food, so it's really important we get comfortable with the idea of touching and manipulating our food with our hands. The first reason to do that is to identify the ripeness of the produce that we use or the freshness of the meat. That means starting in the supermarket by picking up and touching your vegetables, the fruit, and checking that they're ripe enough for you to use in the dishes that you're creating. There's no point using hard avocados, even if they state ripe and ready on the packaging. When you buy meat, it should be firm to the touch and dry, not slimy or pappy. The second reason to use touch in the kitchen is probably the most common, and that's to identify how well cooked things are. We've all seen the image of a chef pressing his thumb or forefinger into a piece of steak to identify whether it's rare, medium, etc. One brilliant way to do this is to take your hand and to feel the soft part of your thumb. When your hand is open like this, that's the feeling of raw meat. Now put your thumb and forefinger together and you have the texture of a rare steak. Put your thumb and middle finger together and you have the texture of a medium rare steak. Your ring finger and thumb, you have a medium steak, and finally your pinky and thumb, a well done steak. You can of course use a temperature probe, but it's great to do that alongside getting the idea of how things feel when they're cooked to certain degrees. That way, if you don't have the probe, then you can rely on yourself and your instincts to get you over the finish line. Especially when you're starting out, it's really important to nail the basics, and doing it without the extra technology is going to make you a much better cook in the long run. The third reason to use touch in the kitchen is to identify temperature. Now don't go putting your hand onto a really hot stove, but it's really useful to hover your hand just above a pan to identify whether it's hot enough to add the food that you're cooking. If the pan's too cold, food that you wanted to fry may just stew, or if it's too hot, it may burn. So it's really useful to use touch as a way of understanding where you're starting. There are other dishes which require really precise temperature control, such as a beurre blanc sauce or another pan sauce in which you emulsify butter. If it's too hot, the sauce will split and be greasy and unpleasant to eat. The way I learned to do it was to add the butter when the pan was cold enough that you could touch the bottom of it with your hand. Clearly exercise great caution when doing this and make sure the pan is cold before you start. The fourth reason to use touch in the kitchen is because we can be delicate with our hands. Unlike tongs, which are so common these days, when we use our hands to manipulate food, we always apply the correct amount of pressure and we don't end up bruising salad leaves or breaking apart a delicate piece of fish. By all means use tongs when you're turning a piece of meat in a really hot pan, but for the more delicate things, especially when plating a dish, your hands are the best tools you have. So next time you're plating a fish dish and you want it to look beautiful and precise, don't simply plonk the piece of fish down with a spatula or tongs, rather slide it off, using your hands to guide where you want it on the plate. Another very common tool in modern kitchens is the food processor, and I use mine all the time. However, sometimes when you're making things like pestos or grinding spices, the old pestle and mortar can be so much more effective because it allows you to control the texture that you want. Too often I press the button on the food processor and before you know it, you've got a paste when what you wanted was a roughly chopped sauce. Use the pestle and mortar. It takes a little longer, but not only will you be rewarded with the texture you want, the aromas you get whilst cooking make the whole process so much more pleasurable. The fifth and final way in which touch is really useful in the kitchen is when handling doughs. Whether that's a bread dough or a pastry dough, it's almost impossible not to use your hands. The sign of a great baker is a delicate touch, and during the process of baking bread, which can be complicated with many variables, it's really important to know at all stages what the dough should feel like. Whether that's knowing when the gluten structure has developed enough after kneading, or by using a thumb pressed into the dough to help identify when the dough is ready to bake. And this is a great way to start getting comfortable with using your hands in the kitchen. So that's it for this week, 5 reasons why you should be touching your food more. Next week, why you should listen to your food, the sounds of the kitchen and why they're so important in making you a better cook. Thanks for watching, please do subscribe and see you next week.